Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and for the last week I've been driving the 2026 Toyota Prius XSE Prime. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline 4 as well as a plug-in hybrid system, and down below is an eCVT. Now I am super excited to be making this video here today because I've spent the last week with the Prius and I have plenty of thoughts to share with you. I think this is a very good product and I'm excited to share with you why I feel that way. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 2.0 liter inline 4 as well as the plug-in hybrid system. Well, the Prime means that it's the plug-in hybrid. The standard Prius is still a traditional hybrid, but this gets about 40 miles of all-electric driving on a full charge. So you charge it up at home. Every morning you'll start off with 40 miles of electric driving. So if your commute is under 10 miles, you can do the whole thing in EV mode and potentially never use a drop of gas. However, when you do want to go far, you could switch it into hybrid and use that gasoline and fill it up at any gas station in the country. So very, very nice to see both of that coming together. Altogether, with the electric motor and the gas engine, it makes 220 horsepower, which has been relatively zippy enough for all the things that I need this car to do. Is this a speed demon? Is this a track weapon? No. But it's enjoyable enough to drive as any other car would be. I don't feel it lacking in any certain way, and I've enjoyed being behind the wheel. Like I said, paired to it is an eCVT. I like it. It works well. Toyota has proven themselves with their eCVTs. And last but not least, this is front-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive the Prius? It's good. Visibility's okay. You do have these really long swooping A-pillars that kind of cut into your view quite a bit. But overall, the ride quality's been good. I had 4 people in here last night, and they actually complimented the ride quality on the highway in the back, which is normally abysmal in a lot of vehicles. It was actually quite manageable in this one. Like I said, it makes enough power. It's fine. If you're looking for great driving cars, the Prius definitely isn't that. But if you want a car that's going to drive every day and be really efficient in doing so, the Prius is great. Overall, big fan. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. I don't love this. I think it's a little hectic. I think it's a little busy. There's quite a bit to look at, which is nice. It gives you a lot of information, but it can be a little overwhelming at times. On the steering wheel on the left, we do have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen, as well as volume and voice commands. And off to the right, we have our adaptive cruise control, skip track, and mode. Off to the left, we have our odometer and gauge dimmer switch, a climate vent, automatic high beams, heated windshield, and heated steering wheel. And way down below, we have our gas cap release and our AC 120 volt outlet on and off. Moving on to the door, we have the latch to get in and out, power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. And moving into the center, we get our infotainment display. It does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It works very well. It's clear, it's easy to see, it's easy to use, and it's easy to learn for first-time users. We do get a backup camera. It's not the clearest thing in the world, but it's also not terrible, so I don't mind it here. And I do love watching the energy flow screen telling you where the energy is coming from and where the energy is going. Down below, we have 2 climate control vents with the hazard switch in the center, and then we get our physical climate controls. Something I would have liked to have seen is dual zone climate. This only has single zone climate, which up above $40,000, I feel like they should include dual zone. But single zone, and we also have heated seats, so I can get by. And then down below, we have 2 USB-Cs as well as a 12-volt outlet. We do get a little compartment that also opens up to a larger hidden compartment that Toyota's very proud about, that they put a hashtag on a vehicle. This car feels very modern, except in that way. It's not 2014, and we're not at an indie coffee shop trying to hashtag caramel lattes are my besties, or whatever people use hashtags for. But moving up the center console, we do have cup holders. We'll do a big friggin' bottle test, and predictably it fails. We tested one earlier this year. It also failed, so this fails as well. Then we do have the shifter, standard shifter. This is actually the vehicle that started this trend of shifter. Now, almost all Toyota and Lexus products use this style of shifter. We do have a wireless charger off to the right. It's this little pocket you kind of put your phone into horizontally. Kind of interesting to see that. And then we have buttons for our drive mode select, which is sport, eco, and normal. We have our auto, EV, and hybrid vehicle button. We have our button where I can select which mode, power parking brake, auto holding brake, and traction control off. Then we do get a little center console and the seats. The seats are heated. They are power. However, no memory, anything like that. They're relatively average seats, which again, up at 41,000, it's fine. I'll take it, but if it were to go any higher, I would definitely expect memory seats out of a vehicle like this. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2026 Toyota Prius Prime XSE, and a couple of things to note. First of all, it's comfortable back here. I drove 3 other friends up to about an hour and a half each way to go drive remote control cars. Shout out to Twisted Lanes RC drifting spot in Rockford, Illinois. And we're all, bigger, full-grown adults, and they even said, they fit back here fine. It was really, really nice to ride the 4 of us all the way up to Rockford. So it was nice. They fit. We do have a wall outlet down below. We have 2 USB-Cs. We do get a center console, things like that. Nothing too crazy beyond that, nothing too new. However, certainly nice. And I like it back here. You're gonna be able to fit full-size adults back here, which can't be said about all of the sedans, but the Prius, most certainly so. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Prius Prime, there's a little button. It's kind of hidden underneath the Toyota badge. And there you go. That is around the back of the new Prius. Now, we were able to fit all 5 of our RC cars back here with their bins, tubs, tools, things like that. You can come down here and lift this up for some added storage, but nothing too crazy beyond that. I do think this is a healthy amount of cargo space, but if you are worried about cargo space, of course the RAV4 is going to be there to fill that gap. It's not the most in the world, it's not awful, but it works. Still says hybrid reborn here for some silly reason, but there you go. That is the trunk. It is not power operated or anything like that. Grab handle here. There you go. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is yellow. It's very yellow. It's very, very yellow. And it is eye-catching. I think the overall look and design of the Prius is very, very striking and relatively attractive. I came out to my car last night and there were 4 people standing around it saying, oh man, the new Prius looks great, all this stuff. And so I moseyed out and got a water bottle out of the car and they're like, oh, is this your car? Blah, blah, blah. And we talked about it and they were all really, really impressed at how good the Prius looks. Now, it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's a lot more people's cup of tea than at least it used to be. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the 2026 Toyota Prius Prime XSE for the last week? Well, it's been great. It's been good. I like the Prius. Operates well. If you are a person looking for a car to just do normal car things, the Prius is here for you. Very average, it's very mundane, it's not special in any way besides the fact that it gets great fuel economy and it works every single time. There's no weird software bugs, there's no glitches, there's no weird key fob that I have to tell you how it works before you get in. It has physical climate controls, it's a car. And so, if you found my video, and this is the first of my videos that you've seen, thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. If you're a longtime fan of the channel, you might notice and say, hey, Zach, didn't you already do a review on this? Yes and no, unnamed viewer. I had the 2025 Toyota Prius as a press loan earlier this year. In the same color, in the same trim level. There's no new colors, there's no new features, there's no new tech, no new gadgets, no new gizmos. And so, some of you might think that that's a bad thing, but let me tell you why that's a good thing. Toyota knows, people know, buyers know, that this is a good product. And when a product is so good and selling well, there's not a whole lot of incentive to change it. You don't mix with the recipe. If you own a bakery and there's a line out the door every single day for your donuts, you're not gonna come into work one morning and say, hey, let's stop using flour, or let's use a different sugar, let's use a different this, a different that. No, you're gonna say, let's keep making the same donuts. And until that line starts to dwindle, until the morning that you wake up and you don't have anyone waiting in line, you produce the same thing. And only then do you update it. Only then do you figure something out and find the new thing. Maybe there's a global wave of gluten-free trends going on. Well, okay, then start looking into gluten-free alternatives. But if this thing is printing money, why stop? There's no need. This is kind of the perfect modern car, in all honesty. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, I don't like the screens, I don't like this, I don't like that. Sure, you can have complaints all you want, but in terms of basic modern human transportation, this formula is perfect. And it really, really shouldn't be touched. Unless they can squeeze even more MPGs out of it, I don't understand a way that this could get any better. If they make it bigger, it's going to be too big, honestly. Plus, they already have the RAV4 Prime, which kind of fills in the bigger question mark. I guess you could keep it moving with more tech, but if they added self-driving, it's going to be very overly complicated and honestly bring up glitches that this car doesn't have. This is a semi-software driven car, and I have experienced zero glitches, not a slow screen, not a laggy touch, nothing. Toyota has created perfection. And well, I guess if we're talking about yellow cars, this is now the second time that they've perfected an automobile. Yeah, that one ain't too shabby either. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota for letting me borrow their new Prius for the last week. Huge thank you to Drive Shop for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwest Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.